All right, Warren Buffett. So I wanted to do some kind of class or Q&A on him before he dies.
What?
He's
You
like
can't start
92.
with that. Is he really?
Yeah.
What? He looks so good.
I don't know, maybe he's 89 or 90. He's a 90 something. He's right up there. He's old. So probably not going to be around forever. But it seems to be a really good guy. Sure enough, when I watch some videos on him, do a little bit of research, does seem to be a good guy. A good buddy of Bill Gates, and has been a buddy of Bill Gates for a long time. So one of those guys that, a lot of people have a hard time kind of seeing because he's the rich billionaire at the top. So you just insert all your fears.
He must be a bad guy then.
Yeah,
if he has money, he must have stepped on people to get there.
He seems kind of like a nice guy and
Yes.
kind of like a dope in the sense of like a very kind of simple guy.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't seem to overcomplicate his life. That's one thing that I'm seeing of people that are extremely growth mindset.
Yeah.
Gary Vee, Jocko, they tend to, Ed Milet, they just make shit way simple. So also kind of want to go through his type. His type right here is double feminine.
ENTP.
Anyway. But yeah, so you got Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk. So you have the NTP crew, NENTI. So for all
Ruling the world.
for all the rest of us dummies that got the wrong function stack, that means you're doing everything wrong. When you're sitting down to solve a problem, you're doing, if you have T E and I,
our monkey functions.
you're doing everything. I was thinking about that this morning. I'm like, I sat down at work. I'm like, I am doing everything wrong. He's a billionaire and I'm not. That means I'm doing everything wrong.
Well, then maybe we should watch more of Warren Buffett.
There you go. Here he is.
Well, in a nutshell, Mr. Buffett, can you give us your opinion of just exactly what happened, what caused it?
Well, there was undoubtedly some forced selling the week when the stock market hit the news. The previous week, prices had declined about 6% for the week on average. And there was some stock that was forced upon the market both by margin calls from brokers and some that was forced out by improperly secured bank loans. And this in turn set up a self-generating mechanism on the downside for a while, which we may have seen the last of and which we may not have seen the last of.
So that's him young. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, like that surprised me. It does look like an ENTP. That's funny. That a lot of the ENTPs we know have that same, look-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah, that.
But he looks sporty, cool, and handsome.
He does look sporty.
But he
cool,
talks
and
the
handsome.
same.
It's very interesting.
All right, let's fast forward to modern day.
Okay.
Analogies.
You can imagine the American economy is an economic train moving down a track that has no ending. And it picks up cargo and passengers as we go along. There's 330 million of us now. There were only 4 million in 1790. And
when I was born,
our farms are incredibly more productive, and we have 75 million houses, and we had a few huts then, and we have great universities and all of these things. So we're just constantly moving more and more cargo and passengers along. And occasionally that train is going to get derailed. In 2008, you had something close to a bubble in home real estate. 50 million people had mortgages roughly at that time out of 75 million homeowners. When that bubble burst, it hit home to probably 40% of the households in the country, these people that had mortgages on their houses. And fear spread in the month of September 2008 at a rate that was like a tsunami.
Who do you hold responsible for that?
Those bad people. Who let the decider in the room?
Yeah, right? I know.
He's like,
damn it, I can hear him.
Lady, I do stocks. I don't fucking chase people around town.
Wow.
So real quick,
fast.
the N over the S, right? So it's one thing to look for if they're N dominant, especially N at the top. It's setting a stage of the analogy first, then I'll tell you all your stupid sensor.
Yeah.
But there needs to be a framework for all the stupid sensor to go
into.
into.
Yeah, I won't tell you September 8th until I say there was a giant bubble that was a tsuami.
And you got the train analogy going so you know where to place the sensor.
Right.
Bubbles are always hard to ascertain the originators of it. There really aren't any originators. Everybody got caught in. Some were foolish, some were crooked, some were both. But you had a mass illusion that it could go on forever. You had Wall Street firms participating, you had mortgage originators participating, but you had the public participating. And
everybody.
It was a lot of fun. I mean, it was like going to Cinderella, going to the party. I mean, it was all going to turn to mice and pumpkins at midnight, but nobody wanted to leave until 1 minute to midnight, and the rush for the door couldn't be handled.
So they wrapped it up in an analogy.
I love how he dodged that decider question so fast. He's like, I don't know, everybody was responsible. But then, as a single observer, he's like, felt like it was going to last forever.
Yeah, right.
That's where the single observers get caught, is that when something catastrophic happens, it's like, this is never going to end. We're going to be stuck like this forever.
The illusion of, it's like the deciders are forever trapped in preschool of Sally stole my markers, it's not fair. And
you're touching me. Stop touching me. That's the decider.
And the observers are forever trapped in some kind of like magic show.
Yeah.
What are, say, 3 pieces of advice you would give to people who are looking to succeed in business?
3.
Well, by far the best investment you can make is in yourself. I mean, for example, communication skills. I tell the students that come that they're going to graduate schools and business and they're learning all these complicated formulas and all that. If they just learn to communicate better, and both in writing and in
so
person,
true.
they increase their value at least 50%. I mean, if you can't communicate, somebody says, it's like winking at a girl in the dark. Nothing happens, basically. And you have to be able to get forth your ideas. And that's relatively easy. I did it myself with the Dale Carnegie course. Some people wish I'd taken a shorter course now in terms of my talking later on. But it's just hugely important. And if you invest in yourself, nobody can take it away from you. I mean, the second thing, which I'll get a certain criticism for not living it, but I do tell those students, that if I gave you a car and it'd be the only car you get in the rest of your life, you take care of it like you can't believe. Any scratch, you'd fix that moment. You read the owner's manual, you keep a garage, do all these things, and you get exactly one mind and one body in this world. And you can't start taking care of it when you're 50. By that time, you'll have rusted out if you haven't done anything. So you should really make sure that you just remember that you just got one mind and body to get through life with and to do the most with it.
By the way, that was only 2 out of 3. And the guy's going to be like, okay, so what's the third one? Yeah. I gave you a stupid little racket, which he already forgot. See what I mean?
Yes.
Like he's not some fucking super genius.
I know.
He's just some average ENTP guy. But notice the communication. He's like, and I even took courses on it myself.
Yeah.
I really believe him that he was able to kind of figure out, oh shit, I have a hard time communicating, fucking being blast last.
Right.
I took a class on it. And it wasn't even that hard. I'm sure, like being 90, it's not hard now.
Right.
But just I was really happy for him or proud of him that like he took on the ownership of, I just got to cover this blast last thing.
Yeah, honestly.
Because we see that when people are like, all right, so my last function, my last animal, if I could just get that tire out of the ditch, I could be up and running.
What about life advice?
Well, life advice is, the most important thing, aside from the things I've talked about already, is really who you associate with. You want to associate with people that are better than you are.
Neil deGrasse
Basically, you'll go in the direction of the people that you associate with, and you want to have the right heroes. You want people. If you want to emulate somebody, you better pick very carefully who you want to emulate. And when obviously you can't pick your parents, they're going to have an enormous influence on you, but you don't get a choice on that. But you get choices as you go down the line, and who you admire, who you want to copy. And the most important for most people in terms of that decision is their spouse. It's also important in terms of a partner in business, but the partner in life is the most important one. You want to pick a spouse that's better than you are, and then he or she, and you hope they don't figure it out too fast.
Great.
So the Neil deGrasse Tyson story of the single observer with the N at the top is like, I'm going to overlearn with the tribe. I'm going to learn from people and mentors, not because I'm such a great people person, it's that I'm so fucked off with the information. As a single observer, I'll just use the N to kind of blur the details and learn from the people. That's like, that's what double deciders / single observers are doing. Like, I was telling somebody the other day, I'm like, yeah, do this, and then tell me how it goes. Yeah. Like, I'm just realizing, like, I won't just go do the information myself. You go do the information, then tell me how the information, because you and I are buddies, so then you can tell me when you go do the thing, then you tell me.
Right, for sure.
Right?
1000%.
So one thing you said as well is, like, you can't pick your parents.
Yes.
And we're seeing, it tells what we're seeing of like what the importance of a childhood on somebody's development.
Well, that's huge because obviously, yes, you're going to get really fucked up by your parents. Which way you look at it, I mean, a lot of people that are doing really good on this planet had good parents. I mean, that's really just plain and simple. But there's also a lot of people on this planet that had a horrible upbringing, and you're like, and they're still also, really making it. Yes, of course, you want that default of my parents were good, they taught me how to grow up. But I think the thing for me is that I have chosen on this planet, and I think that if you can get yourself out of it, to see your parents as just, you're an amoeba, I was an amoeba that was in the same petri dish with you, and now I'm going to go choose my own
We're roommates.
reality. That's it. You're just roommates. But people get so stunned by their upbringing that they get kind of trapped in but this wasn't fair. This was hard. This was very tragic. This was traumatizing. And then they just sort of stare at that explosion of horrifical, past that they've had, instead of being able to go, you know what, from this day on, I'm going to growth mindset and I'm going to see that I have a choice from here on out, because you do have a choice to go, I'm going to use whoever on this planet as my pathway, as my blueprint, as the emulator. You don't have to, it's not about default. So that's just fixed mindset. I wasn't given the best parents ever, not me. I mean, my parents are great, but like a lot of people had it really, really hard. You don't have to stay stuck in that mentality. Growth mindset. You can choose Warren Buffett to be your grandpa.
Here we are.
Hello. Yes.
Ready to go.
Ready to work.
There's your buddy.
This is just a sample of our competence. If you think this is bad, wait till we really get into action.
Yeah, just fill it up to that.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Well, keep it going. You got to get 2 balls on there.
But I'll see if I can do better.
Oh my God.
See, I'm very
They're
generous.
going to order from you from now on, not from me. Who had the bad luck to draw me? If you want anything later on, it's on me.
The cone is okay.
I want a medium Reese's.
That's Gentleman Dan.
It's very popular.
Is it?
Absolutely.
I like that peanut butter.
Extra peanut butter for him.
Okay, so the 3 most important things about training somebody new. Number 1 is definitely patience.
I'll put the hand out for the money and Bill can do this high-tech stuff.
You still gotta ask her what she wants for her dipping sauce.
Oh, you dip chicken too? Wow, you guys dip a lot of stuff around here.
Number 2, make sure you smile.
Come on,
so
Bill.
they should smile, you know, kind of pass the smiles along.
We got it.
3, have a good time and treat a customer like they're somebody that's in your own home.
Whoa! You get 2 free ones for that.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I like that. I like that.
Thank you.
Much better than the way I did it.
Yeah. Yeah, how long ago did you buy Dairy Queen, and what was it that made it look good?
I've known Dairy Queen all my life. Dairy Queen actually started in the 1930s. And
Wow.
Yeah, a couple guys worked up soft ice cream, and when they were contemplating selling, he actually thought of Berkshire. Who better than some guy that loved the product, and we made a deal, and we've lived happily ever after.
So how did Bill and Warren do today?
Could have done better. Bill was good on the menu board. Warren was good at taking credit. So, but all around, they did all right. I'd hire them.
Could have done better.
Yeah, and some Davy kid. Looked
Right?
Like it. Yeah. Looked,
Just confident as hell. I
Yeah.
didn't live up to my standards, but
Yeah.
you know, I'll work with them.
right? And paying attention to the NF. Also using analogies, you know. Yeah, really good.